Good morning everyone, I'm T. Dube. The cover page that you can see on your screen shows the title of my recently published book, Objective English Easy to Hearts, Part 1. In this book, I have written some research techniques as you can see at the bottom of the cover. With the help of these techniques, any student can get mastery over English language, grammar, vocabulary, sentence arrangement, and not only that, with the help of these techniques, I am going to show you how you can predict, how you can guess most of the coming questions before exam. This is the 5th lecture that I am going to give on this book. 4 lectures are already given. The first 3 were on subject and verb agreement, and the last lecture was on tenses. So if you haven't watched those previous lectures, I would advise you to attend them first before attending this one. Now in this class, I am going to discuss uses of past tenses, and then I will be showing you analysis of one practice set from this book, showing you how you can know the coming questions in competitive examinations or even school exams. So let us move directly to today's class. Now look at rule number 27. And if you haven't watched the previous lecture on tenses, first watch that, because we have discussed what tense is, what are the 12 forms of tenses, plus uses of all the present tenses. Now, rule number 27 says, the simple past tense is used for an action that happened in the past. For example, India gained its independence in 1947. That means this action of getting independence took place in the year 1947, which is a past time. I received a package from my sister. So here the action of receiving the package is taking place in the past, though the date or week or month is not mentioned. I consulted my lawyer about this. So this verb, consulted my lawyer, shows that the action took place in the past, though that a specific time has not been mentioned in the sentence. The company sent the customers a reminder. So this verb sent shows that the action of sending the reminder was done in past, though the date is not mentioned. She married a rising cricketer in 2010. So here the year of marriage is mentioned, which is 2010. So what we can understand from this discussion is that the simple past tense is used for an action that happened in the past, and in some cases the specific time may not be mentioned, and in some it will be given. Moving on to rule number 2. The simple past tense is used to express repeated actions in the past. Repeated actions in the past means the action that happened once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. For example, she cried for help many times but in vain. So here she is crying not once, twice, thrice, 4 times, 5 times. So this is repeated actions but in past. They changed their plans twice. Twice means 2 times. So they changed their plan 2 times. He came to see us once in a week. Again, this is happening only in once, but it is happening in the past. She edited the essay more than once. More than once, maybe 2 times, 3 times. I reminded you to post the letter several times. So the use of these words several times, once, twice, 3 times, 4 times show, not once, it should be more than once. So it shows that the simple past tense is used for an action that is repeated. We are moving to one of the most important aspect of use of tenses. In my previous class, I have already discussed that time denoting words are to be kept in mind. Only then you can predict or you can know how questions are framed and what question has been framed in a question paper. So if you look at these words, yesterday, this morning, this evening, last week, last year, a week ago, a month ago, a year ago, that day, all these words are showing that the action that would be coming in a particular sentence would be in the simple past. So, hope you must have understood. Moving on to the use of past continuous tense. Now, look at these examples before we go to the uses of past continuous tense. In example number 1, we come to know we arrived in Mumbai yesterday. So here, this form of the verb arrived shows the past time, but because it has been yesterday, so it shows simple past. A road accident happened here this morning. So happened itself refers to past time, and this morning shows the time which is over. That means this morning, the morning of today, referring to past. Long ago again refers to past. So if the time reference word is past, then the verb should also be in the past. What happened after that? Here, after that is a time reference word. So you need to keep it in mind that in any given sentence, if a time reference word has been given, the verb of that sentence has to go according to the given time reference word. Now, after we have discussed simple present tense, let us move on to the uses of simple past tense. Let us move on to the uses of past continuous tense. Look at the first use. The past continuous tense is used if we want to focus on an action in progress, repeated, or that occurred in the past. So it shows that it is used, the past continuous tense is used if we want to focus on an action which was in progress or repeated. It happened once, it happens twice in the past. For example, her tooth was aching, means she was suffering from toothache or pain in her tooth. Her burnt finger was hurting. So if this action was in progress at some time in the past, he was looking ill and everyone was begging the captain to surrender. So here this begging can be understood that this begging was happening repeatedly. Everyone was begging. The party president was addressing a rally. In simple language, you can understand that the simple past continuous tense is used for an action that was in progress, that was going on, that was running at some time in the past. Then, next use. The past continuous tense can be used around another action, very, very important. What does it mean? Let me explain with the help of the examples that are given. It was raining when I came. So in this example, two actions are taking place. It was raining and coming. Both these actions are happening at the same time. The speaker is coming and drops of rain are falling. So both these actions are taking place simultaneously at the same time, together. So for one action, simple past tense is used, and for the other, past continuous tense. Look at another example. While I was waiting at the bus, I saw him. So again, in this example also you can understand that two actions are taking place at the same time. the action of waiting at the bus stop, and the action of seeing. So the past continuous tense is used with simple past tense. Moving on to the uses of the past perfect tense. The past perfect tense is used to talk about a past event or situation that occurred before a time in the past. What does it mean? Let me put it in simple words. According to this rule, we are talking about two actions in the past. First action, second action. First action is completed, then the other action begins. I repeat this sentence. The first action is completed, then the other action begins. So for the first action, we use the past perfect tense, and for the second, we use the simple past tense. Let us understand this concept with the help of these examples given. The patient had died before the doctor arrived. So there are two actions taking place in this example: death of the patient and arrival of the doctor. So patient is dying, then the doctor is coming. That means the first action is over, then the second action is happening. Likewise, she had become an accomplished orator by then. So here, by then refers to a point of time. Imagine this is a point of time in the past. And this action is completed before this point of time. So in the past, when an action is completed before a point of time, the action must be in the past perfect. They had settled in Tokyo before 2010. So from this example also you can understand that the given time is 2010 and they had settled in Tokyo before 2010. It means they might have settled in 2009, in 2008, in 2007. So statement shows the action is completed before a certain point of time. The plane landed before 7 p.m. Again, this 7 p.m. is a point of time, and before this point of time this action is happening. So the past perfect tense is used for an action which is completed before another action begins in the past, or the action is completed before a certain point of time in the past. Moving on to the second use of the past perfect tense. When we use a time denoting word, I have already told you that time denoting word is very important aspect of the use of tenses. So when we use a time denoting word such as before, after, as soon as, when, by the time, to say that one action happened after another, we use a past perfect for the action that happened first and the simple past for the action that happened second. Though I have already explained it to you, but let me explain it again with the help of the examples given. Before he spoke, he made some notes. So two actions are happening: speaking and note making. So first action is making notes, therefore it is in past perfect, and the second action is speaking. It means the second action, therefore the second action is in the past, simple past tense, and this action is in the past perfect tense. The police reached there after the thieves had fled. So again, two actions are taking place here: reaching of the police and running away of the thief. So this action, escape of the thief, running away of the thief, happens first, and reaching of the police happens second. So always remember, for the first action we use the past perfect tense. When I had read the newspaper, I gave it to him. So two actions: reading of the newspaper and then handing it over to somebody else. So the speaker reads it first, then he gives it to someone else. Therefore this action is in the past perfect. Now let us understand use of the past perfect continuous tense. The past perfect continuous tense is used for an action that went on over a period of time before a past time. What does it mean? Let me explain. It had been constantly raining all day. Means this is past perfect continuous tense, as you can see. So this statement wants to tell you that the rain had been going on constantly, that in the past. He had been pursuing her relentlessly for a month. So pursuing means running after someone. So he had been running after her relentlessly, continuously for a month. So this action is taking place or running over a period of time in the past. In simple words, if I have to explain this concept, you can write it. If you want to write it in simple words, that the past continuous, past perfect continuous, perfect continuous tense is used to talk about an action that began in the past, ran over a period, of time in the past and ended in the past. Ended in the past. So what is happening over here? This action begins in the past, runs over a period of time in the past, and also ends in the past itself. That means it has no connection with the present. You can think about your school days. Let us talk about when you were in class 1. So you started the action of a study at some time in the past and you continue it for a year, and then before you went to standard 2, that action came to an end. So these are different uses of past tenses, and now it is time to show you how you can assume, how you can guess, how you can know most of the questions based on tenses. So I am taking you to the analysis of one practice set, that is practice set number 6, whose difficulty level is moderate. Now let us analyze practice set number 6, and you can see its difficulty level is moderate. That means it is not very difficult, you can understand it, but I have collected very exclusive questions so that you enjoy doing. Look at question number 1, and remember in my previous class I told that tense based questions can be predicted by keeping 3 things in mind. 1, form, 2, correct use, and 3, agreement between the verb tense, verb form and the time denoting word. Let me show you how. Question number 1. Some of these statements are misleading and some downright mendacious. First of all, let me explain these 2 words, though I will be discussing vocabulary later on. Mendacious means deceiving or false, fake, that can cheat you. Now, we are not going to discuss vocabulary at present. Our main aim is this. This verb are is in simple present tense. We are not doing subject verb agreement at present, so focus on these 3 points. Now, what is the tense? Simple present. Is it okay? Now remember one thing always, there is no other time denoting. Some of these statements are misleading and some downright mendacious. So other than this verb, there is no other time denoting word, and this point should be kept in mind. If a sentence does not contain any time denoting word, a time reference word, then the verb can be correct in any tense. So there is no problem in this sentence. It is correct. Look at question number 2. We did not get a chance to talk to her, but I wish we have. Now you see there are 3 verbs. Did not get, then wish and have. What is the tense of the first one? It is in the simple past tense. Did not get. So it is talking about some past event. We did not get a chance to talk to her. Fine. But I wish. So I wish. We have. If you make sense out of the time of the sentence, you will think this is talking about past time. So this have is wrong. In place of have, it should be had. Why? Because it refers to past. I wish we have. I wish we have. That means at present I wish, but I refer to the past time. Therefore this have is wrong. Moving on to question number 3. Why do not we all had some lunch on Friday? Look very carefully at this verb form. Why do not we all had lunch together on Friday? So this auxiliary verb do not is always followed by basic form of the verb, and here had is in past. Therefore this had is wrong. It is based on the form, verb form. So this is based on form. You can predict any question based on form, uses and time reference words. So this shows form. Moving on to question number 4. We got late for work. We got late for work almost every morning. Again, verb is got. It is in the simple past tense, and we have a time reference word, every morning. I have explained it a number of times that if a time reference word is given in a sentence, the verb must change according to that time reference word. So here, every morning, daily, every day is discussed in the previous class. These words refer to simple present tense. So in place of got. Now look at question number 5. I vividly remember the room in which we had a balcony facing the sea. So we have 2 verbs. Remember is in simple present tense and had is in simple past tense. So I vividly remember the room in which we had a balcony. That means this is correct because it is happening in present. Remembering action is happening in present and it refers to past. That means the speaker was living in a room and refers to past time. Therefore this statement is also correct. So there is no problem in this question. Moving on to question number 6. I had seen her with a new boy in town the other night, but did not dare ask her who he was. There are 3 verbs in this. Had seen is in past perfect. Then did not dare, simple past, simple past. So we have to see whether this past perfect is correct or not. How can we see? To find out if there is a time reference word. There is a time reference word, the other night. And this other night refers to the simple past tense. So this had seen is wrong. In place of had seen, it should be saw. Moving on to question number 7. I looked in all the shops for the string, but there was none to be have. Now, verb. So there are 3 verbs in this sentence. Looked is in simple past. I looked in the shops for the string. So there is no problem here. But there was none. No problem here. To be, have. Mistake is there in this part. This has been changed into passive voice. We will discuss this one later on, but this have is to be changed into had. Look at question number 8 now. Some children were complaining against that class teacher for some times. You can see here 4 has been used over here, and this verb is in the past continuous tense. So if 4 or since 4 has been used, we have to use past perfect continuous tense. So in place of were complaining, it should be had been complaining. So some children had been complaining against that class teacher for some days. That means there is no agreement between the verb and the time reference word. Moving on to question number 9. Several appeals to people to donate blood are made so far, but we doubt if our requests are heard. So several appeals to people to donate blood are made. This is in the simple present tense in the passive form. But we doubt, here we doubt is in the simple present tense. If our requests are heard, simple present tense. Now, what we have to see whether these tenses are correctly used or not. Let us see. So several appeals to people to donate blood are made. This so far is a time reference word. If you remember, so far, up to now, yet, ever, never is used in the present perfect tense. So this are made is wrong. In place of are made, it should be have been made. And last question for analysis. When I returned home from my office yesterday, you can very clearly see there is a time reference word that is yesterday, and it is referring to past time. And here the tense that has been used here is simple present. So there is problem in the verb. It should be in the simple past. So what we understood from this discussion is that most of the questions based on tenses can be predicted if you keep 3 points in mind. Number 1, form. 2, use of the tense. And 3, agreement between the verb and the time reference word in the sentence. If you want to solve any other set, you can use it, but keep these 3 points in mind. And you can predict, you can guess most of the questions based on tenses. Now, we will move on to the next class, and in that class we will be discussing one very important point, that is surefire shortcut trick. How you can get stronger grip on this chapter. So let us move on to that class.